Like, I don't know what the system is, so we mess everything up. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Now, y'all can do better than that. I know it's Sunday. And just in case we don't have a room full of people, we can make a joyful noise. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yes, this is it. This is it. Thank you all for being here for this afternoon and participating with us in this amazing workshop. I feel like every singer in the board needs to be here because if you don't really know about the microphones, then you don't know. There's no halfway. It's either you know or you don't. So all of you will be able to walk out of here with some new and fresh information that will help and advance your singing. If you have a great voice and you have horrible microphone control and stability, your performance is going down. It's not going to help you. So if you brought something to write with, I recommend pulling out something. You might want to take some notes. Ms. Hopkins has made some copies for you that she will explain that's going on. There will be a break. At that time, we'll have a little bit of time, but feel free. The bathroom is out there. It's a very relaxed ordeal. If you need to get up and go, just go. Get up and go. No problem. No big deal about that. We are also recording today. It will be on our YouTube channel, so if there's things that you wanted to go back and learn again, it will be there for us. Also, I'd like to talk about our one-day choir event that's happening next month on April 20th. One day, you just show up and sing. This has been going on in LA and New York for almost 2 years now. And so we've never done anything like this here in Japan. And so I'm bringing it to Tokyo. We're doing it. And our song has been chosen. It's a choir type song that we're doing. We've got a few musicians that are going to be there. And we're going to come and make some music in 3 hours. In 3 hours, we're going to do it on that. So if you're interested to come, this is on our website. This is out there as well. Feel free to take a picture, or you can inquire at a lesson at a future date. Excellent. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce today's workshop leader for our mic check 1, 2, 3, our microphone techniques for singers. Let's welcome Miss Andrea Hopkins.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Andrea Hopkins, as he said. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. I've been singing since the day I was born, basically. It's just one of those things that, you popped out and that was happening. But it took a long time for me to find my footing to where I actually wanted to do this. And again, like I joke with Chris all the time, things in my life usually happens because I've been shoved into them, not because I went willingly, but it's like, no, you must do this. And once I started meeting some of the most phenomenal people. I mean, I will say American Idol, the musical director for American Idol was one of my keyboard players. Worked with him, people that worked with Whitney Houston. The musical director for Justin Bieber is my best friend in the world. So I've come up with these people to help me go through things. I've been traveling throughout Asia for 30 years. Okay, and when I say 30 years, I mean Japan, Singapore, Hong Kong, Thailand, Taiwan. So I've been doing exactly what I do. I've been singing in all these places, and I kind of refer to it as paid vacations. Because the only time I have to show up is when it's time to do a show, and the rest of the time, it's mine. So I go and explore and do whatever it is. But I've met incredible people along the way, and friendships that I've held on to from different countries, and we still share music. And maybe 3 weeks ago, I got a call from this gentleman in Canada, never met him, who just gave me a call and asked if I would record something for him because he heard a game song that I'd done in Latin. I do not speak Latin, but I did for the recording. And that's what he wanted, was for me to do that again. It's like, do you realize that while we were there, we had an actual opera coach there to help? But we got through it, and he's more than happy. So it opened many doors for me to be able to travel and to meet different individuals. The one thing that I've absolutely enjoyed most of all is that singing for me, it's like it takes me to a different world. It does not matter what is happening. Once I hit the stage and the music begins and I start to sing, everything else disappears because it's therapeutic. It's the one thing that we, as singers or musicians, have, that when we express ourselves honestly, be it anger, we're in love, we just broke up, this is your honesty, it comes through in music, and others can feel it because you're experiencing those same things. Maybe at different times, but you've been there and you understand. The one thing I did not learn was what to do with the microphone other than to stand behind it and sing.
Mm.
And I'm pretty sure that the vast majority of us, if not everyone in here, has been on a job where you've either been in a recording studio or you've been doing something live where you walk in and the microphone's there. And someone might say, oh, do you want to do a sound check? And what do? We got mic check, 1, 2, mic check, mic check, la la la, right? Or
So
you
true.
walk into, seriously, you walk into the job and you hear the sound engineer going, tss, 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 tss. And I'm like, what are you doing? What? I don't sing like that, what are you doing? I didn't understand that these are things they're using to EQ because they're trying to find out, what is it, sibilance, to make sure that we're not feeding back and making it uncomfortable for those who are listening. So today, I'm gonna do my best, because one of my pet peeves about being a singer or going to hear someone perform, be they that they're singing or speaking and not being heard. It's either too loud and it's distorting so much that you kind of like, okay, I'm trying but I can't, or it's so quiet that it turns you off. Much of that is our fault, because we do not know what to ask for when we have a sound engineer, or when we have to do it ourselves. And for most people who are in this room, I'm pretty sure that when we show up for our jobs, we're having to do the sound ourselves.
Mm.
So if you're like me, the first thing you do is you go over and you slide the fader up because you think, you can't hear me. And then you start turning little knobs.
Mm-hmm.
But we're doing it wrong. Completely wrong. And imagine my surprise when the one button on that console that I should have been touching is the one button I kept saying, I don't know what that means and I'm not touching it. And it's the button that I should have touched the entire time.
Mm.
So we're gonna get started with mic check, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Microphone techniques for singers. And we're gonna have a question and answer session like later. I'm warning you. He's already telling me he's got a bunch of questions and they better be easy. I'm a lot more comfortable holding the mic off the stand, so please ignore me on that. Of course, the objective today is to pass on effective microphone techniques for achieving clear, professional vocal deliveries. That's why we're here. So just imagine pouring your heart out through song, and when you finish, there's no response. The audience, they get nothing but distortion or feedback, and they can't hear you, so they can't respond. They won't respond, because no matter how hard you're trying on the back end of this microphone, nothing's coming through to touch them. So we're going to try to figure out now, which of you have had that experience where you've been singing and as soon as you walked up to it, you get distortion, or in the middle of your song you get distortion, or you hear the monitors, but nothing's happening in the house. Has that happened to any of you before?
Yes.
It's frustrating, right?
Mm.
Yeah. What usually happens when you hear that? Are they large venues or smaller venues?
I'm usually not singing, but I usually just yell louder.
Smaller venues.
So in your smaller venues, that's one of the things that's actually, if you look at the worksheet that I gave you, it says your voice is your instrument. The microphone is the tool that you're using to have your voice heard to those around, be they near or those in the back of the room. And it does not matter the size of the room. You want everyone to hear you. I, like Chris, am loud. You're going to hear me, but that comes from a lot of practice, okay? Even though we're holding the microphone, if you do not project your voice into the microphone, nothing's going to come out. So it's very important for you to remember those things, okay? This is from the beginning. This is just from the beginning. I'm going to start by discussing microphones. Right now, this is, who knows what this is? You're not.
The smart kid in the
You're not
class.
allowed to participate.
You got banned.
What is it?
What is it?
It's a SM58.
Yes, it's the Shure SM58. This is called the workhorse of the vocal environment, the family, okay?
Yeah.
Most times you walk onto a stage, you're going to see this microphone. This is the mic. Why? Because if you drop it, it's not going to break. It's built for that purpose. It is built for that purpose. This is called, and I'm kind of going out of order because that's me. The information is here, but I'm just going to tie it all together the best that I can. This microphone, it's called a dynamic microphone. And the reason it's called a dynamic is because when it's made, of course you have your diaphragm, your magnets that are there to help produce the sound. It actually adds color already. It has color already installed, okay? So when you're miking, you're basically gonna mic your mids and highs. That's what you're gonna ask for. But I'll tell you when to ask for that, okay? Just hold on to that. This microphone, do you know what this is? Nope.
SE what?
I know. You're not supposed to say
I
anything.
don't know. I don't know the model, but it's a kind.
This is called a condenser mic.
Yeah.
It's a condenser mic. And this is actually made by Newman, who happens to be one of the premier microphone companies. And this mic is different simply because it is actually made for quieter environments, okay? You will most likely hear the condenser mic or see the condenser mic being used in recording studios because you need to have the environment controlled. Using this in a live type situation like we usually do where you have people making drinks behind us and they're shaking, this mic is going to pick that up. And you're on stage, which is usually pretty close. Your drummer, your piano player, whoever's there is going to bleed into what you're doing. This microphone is built for live. This too is made for live, but like I said, it's more of a controlled type environment where you want to have that to happen. It also picks up much better on high. So those who are sopranos, they usually go for a condenser mic. Okay, so keep all of these things that I'm saying, keep in your mind. Now that we know how the microphones are capturing the sound, who knows what a frequency response is? Come on, don't be shy.
Do you mean the overtones?
Hmm?
You mean like overtones or?
Exactly.
Okay.
Your frequency response refers to, let me give this definition, the range of sound that a microphone is going to pick up. Your highs, mids, and lows. And like I said, this captures, this is a very true, very, very true to life type of microphone. It's going to capture it just as it is. When you look at this and your frequency ranges on that board, if you have a bigger board, it's flat. That's why that mic, a condenser mic, is used more in recordings because at that point, they record it flat and then they're able to add the EQs as they need to achieve the effect that they want for that song. And as I said, this is already boosted. So this is going to give you the ups and downs that you're looking for and make you sound good. Dropping your mic. How many of you walked into a job and looked at the mic and it's been like dented, like somebody's run over it?
Yeah.
And you're wondering, how does this thing still work? These are built for that purpose. This thing right here is built to withstand the craziest pop singer or the craziest rocker who swings it around and it just hits whatever is nearby and they pick it up and they can continue singing. Yeah, that's what these are made for. So these are the type of microphones. I purposely want this mic because I know me. Okay, I know me. My microphones roll off of desks quite often. So it's like, I'm not gonna, this mic right here, this mic in Japan, this mic is gonna cost you 2 million.
Woo.
This mic you do not play with. Okay, this is not something that you take to whatever live house and just leave it there and let people dance crazily around you. You know, it's like, no, back up. Dance over there. Right now, I'm protecting the mic. That's another thing about these microphones. And like I said, they're very durable. I've had the question come to me, how far should you use the mic? I mean, how close should it be to your mouth? That depends on you. Those who have full voices can stand back a bit. I can probably sit the mic here and sing and you will hear everything going on, as does Chris. With no problem. But those who have quieter voices, you're going to end up singing more with the mic here. Or if you're doing one of my oh my God, I love this young lady, Billie Eilish.
Oh, yeah.
I absolutely love her. And Nora Jones, I have to give them both credit. They're whisperers. So when you're a whisperer, you're going to hold the mic closer because you're trying to pick up everything that's going on. The quieter you become, the closer you get to the mic. The louder you become, the more you want to pull back. I have a tendency to sing off of the mic, especially when I'm going for high notes and they're very powerful. It is not to be cute. It is because you don't want to override the system and you don't want to give a shock to anyone, okay? Which can happen. And I'm going to tell you a quick story because when I came to Japan, I was in the city Gifu. And a very dear friend of mine who just left us recently, bass player and singer, this guy had the heart of gold. And it just so happened that the piano player who came over with me wasn't working out. So we had to send him back. And in the middle of things, we brought in this particular person. And it was during the time when everyone was using mini disc. Floppy disk and, just the karaoke sound and adding instruments on top. And so it's just the two of us. And we're in this venue. The stage is probably about this big, but it's a straight hall, right? So I'm on stage and I'm singing and I'm like, I can't hear. So I turned to him and I said, do you think they can hear me out there? Because I can't hear anything. He said, girl, can't you see everybody's hair going like that? He said, they can hear you because you're blowing them away. And the reason that was happening is because the monitors were situated much lower than the house. So as I was singing stronger and stronger because I couldn't hear. But what was in the house was killing them. It was like, he said, a hair-raising moment. Where everybody's hair was just being flushed back. Because they're like, could you stop, please? And it was only then that I realized, okay, we need to get someone to come and adjust the sound. So these are things that until you do them or you've experienced, you really have no idea. But when you're on the stage, these monitors are great. We don't always have monitors. We have to listen to the house. And if the house isn't situated in such a way that you can hear, again, you're singing harder than you need to, which can lead to vocal strain, which can lead to you being extremely tired at the end of the job. You should be able to enjoy, everyone should walk out and go, wow, that was actually pretty cool. So, I know I got off a little bit, but back to the microphone. We've talked about frequency responses here. We have what you call polar patterns. Each microphone has a polar pattern, and each pattern has a purpose for that. This is a unidirectional polar pattern, which means we speak into it from the front. This is the only place you're going to get the sound. Then we have what you call your bidirectional microphones, which you use mostly for duets and for doing podcasts where you have a guest and you're trying to pick up. Chris is doing a choral thing in a few weeks. He might use an omnidirectional mic, which means that the voices are coming from everywhere. And each of these actually works because of I call them the parameters, or the perimeter of where the sound is going to come from. This microphone will only pick up sound in the very front of it. All of this, it's blocked. So the shaker that's going off in the back because they're making a martini is not being picked up here. It's only your voice that's coming through at this point. Now when you start speaking of directionality, there's one thing that we have to be extremely careful of, and I know we've all had this experience before, of causing feedback. Do you know what feedback is? How come you're the only one answering? And don't be afraid. Come on, answer. I'm serious. Seriously, do you know what feedback is? Have you had the experience before? You have?
Yes.
So what caused the feedback?
The sound from the speaker goes into the microphone. It just goes around further.
That you, yeah, exactly, and it's usually caused because the microphone is not in the correct position. So, we were actually going to cause feedback today, but I'm really not in the mood for being shocked. But as you can see, the microphone is set. That's why we're always sitting here. The best way to avoid there being feedback, your monitor should always be in front of your mic. And if you're going to set up a house sound, you want to be a little bit behind it. You don't want it to loop back. It also comes from your frequencies, as Chris was working on earlier. This is the best part for me. You know that little button I told you that I would never touch on the soundboard because I was afraid of it? That button is actually the first thing you should touch when you are adjusting your own sound. It is called the gain. The gain is the first thing you touch. Why is that? It's because it gives you the signal as to the amount of sound that's going to come out. So you set that so that you have, just before it gets to that yellow peak, before it gets over that little, you set it to just before that. And then you put in your sound. You turn up the sound and adjust your different frequencies, your high, mid, and low, in order to get your sound. And this should actually prevent you from having feedback. That's one of the worst things in the world to me. And it's kind of embarrassing when it happens because it shouldn't. So, one thing I need each of you to, how many of you are actually actively performing?
Y'all better raise your hands.
I know.
I'm about to call y'all out.
There are only 8 people in here.
Look, raise
You
your
didn't raise your hand.
Everybody.
You probably
She's probably the only one who's not. Look, but the rest of them,
And
yeah.
I never used the mic before.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Oh, we might have to change that today. That sounds like a challenge.
But she's a big voice singer. That's why she doesn't.
Oh
do
my
it.
God, this is so cool. This is so cool. Okay. Wow. That feedback thing, that's why you're looking at me like, what? I overstand now. Okay, I really are. These little things are parts of what we do that nobody ever tells us about. No one talks to you about a microphone. And I'm absolutely serious when I say to you, one of my biggest pet peeves is to have a microphone and not be heard, or to sit somewhere listening and it's like, this is really bad. this is really bad. When we go to concerts, I think the worst concert that I've ever gone to was, pardon me, Bruno Mars, when he was at Tokyo Dome. It was painful. I was literally sitting here with my fingers in my ears because it was starting to hurt. And I'm not sure if there were inexperienced sound people or if it's the fact that Tokyo Dome can be really hard to EQ, but it was painful. And tickets were not cheap. So to go and be punished, you know, it made me, these are all things that made me stop and start to realize that we have a lot that we need to contribute to making ourselves sound good. And what I've been told is that because we do not usually have sound engineers that can come in and just adjust for us on every show that we do, we need to find a sweet spot. Once you find that sweet spot, it is now up to you as the singer to do all of the little tricks that you have to be able to make the sound work out. So while we're standing here, we've adjusted the sweet spot, and we can sing all of our songs, and we can be as loud or as soft as we'd like, but we have to know when to move in and when to pull back and still have sound, our voices projected so that everyone's able to hear it. When you see artists doing this, you know, it is not to be cute. They're actually working, as we say, you're working the mic. I was told that someone likes to cup the mic. You don't do this, right? You do this right here.
I did that once,
Oh,
and I got in
okay.
trouble.
I need you to listen to something. Excuse me. Cut for the show, sorry. As I'm speaking to you, do you hear the resonance? Everything sounds pretty cool. So now, when you start to cup your microphone, what just happened? Did you hear the difference? You could hear the difference. What just happened? Could you explain to him what happened when I cupped the mic?
The sound doesn't feel as full.
Exactly. That's what happens. And as I was about to tell you, you can look at, you look at most rappers. You see them come out and they do this. They're all into the mic. This is for effect. You can only do this when you got awesome engineers, because they're boosting as they need to make sure that the mic comes through as clearly. Please don't ever do this. Please, you're hurting yourself.
And the
Because
mic.
at that point, you're having to say,
And the mic.
you're making yourself sing harder than you need to, okay? You should be as free as possible. And two, if there's a particular song that you do often, there'll be nights when you're like, oh my God, it felt so different. I just sang it and I felt free and I could hear different things and I went different places in the song. That's because the sweet spot was there. You could hear yourself, you could feel yourself. So when your microphone is set as it should be, there's no stopping you. You're going to deliver. And one thing that drives you crazy here in Japan is that you're never really sure if the audience is listening. I'm serious. You're really never sure. And then at the end of the set, they'll applaud. It's like, oh, they were listening. And at first it used to throw me off. But then I realized it's like, you know what, if I'm here and I'm having fun and I'm delivering and I'm singing it the way that I feel it and they can see that I'm having fun, they're having fun too. They're having fun. So don't come on stage and not have fun. That's what we do. And you also have to remember that 9 times out of 10, when someone walks into a room and they're sitting at a table, they're paying to sit at that table because you're performing. They pay a table fee for the performance. They're not coming to listen to you argue with your bandmates or drag along the payment that you gotta make tomorrow. That needs to go. Your whole job is to stand on that stage at that moment. You smile through, you sing with your heart, you bring the audience into what it is that you're doing. And I guarantee you, I absolutely guarantee you, that whatever it is that might have been bothering you prior to being on that stage will just go away. You find yourself having fun, and whatever that problem was, you probably won't think about it until you're halfway home.
Mm.
So these are all things, I know there's so much, like I told you, I cut out so much in the sheets that I've given to you, because there's so many aspects of what we do that fit into the conversation today. But if you want to if you're having feedback, what you need to do is to cut your highs. You start cutting the highs, and I listed everything here. Before we started, I had Chris, excuse me. You hear this? This should not be happening. This should not be happening. This
Oh
is,
yeah,
that's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry I'm taking the mic off of the stand, because it's just distracted from what was happening. And Chris, could you do the EQing, please?
Mm-hmm.
This is an EQ problem. Yeah, this is coming from, can you see? It's starting to go away. This is from bad EQ. And usually, it's the low end, most likely, that's causing the noise that's coming through. But he's completely eliminated it. Did you turn the channel down completely, or did you change the EQing?
I changed the EQ.
So these are things, when you're using the microphone, you take it off and it makes that god-awful noise. Please look back and see where your lows are set and adjust. You may even need to adjust your mids. So your mids and your lows are going to be important for you to get rid of this irritating, it's called your handling of your microphone. And also, when you adjust your gain, I think I put it on this sheet too, you want to set your gain so peak hits, like, I don't know why everyone speaks in numbers, but you want to be like minus 12 decibels, okay? And that should be able to give you headroom, just in case you want to get louder, to still turn up if you need to. But you want to always be conscious of the fact that you're trying to avoid your feedback, okay? You want to avoid clipping, and the clipping is going to come around once it gets into that little yellow, the graph on your soundboard.
Mm.
It becomes yellow. Once it gets there, you should actually kind of back down a little bit, because if you keep going and you hit a high note, what's going to happen is it's going to go directly into the red. It's going to distort your sound.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the part that's painful to people. So, lower your gain if you're clipping, to be sure that you're avoiding feedback. I apologize to you for my voice, but I'm dealing with cherry blossoms. I love them, but they try to kill me. So you want to be sure that, excuse me again. We're going to move on into microphone techniques. Your positioning. As I said, I'm more comfortable holding a microphone. I just am. In a setting such as this, I'm much more comfortable this way. But when I'm actually on stage, say when I'm doing an event, a large event or whatever, I'm not moving the microphone. I'm just gonna sit. It's here. Because the sound guys have already come in and they've positioned everything so that there should be no feedback. And I do not want to move around and break that barrier and cause the feedback. So there are going to be other instruments also on stage with their monitors and things again, me moving around may cause us to have the feedback. Sound engineers here in Japan, they're good. They're good. Yeah, they're good. The problem with sound engineers here in Japan is that everyone wants you to do a sound check. So you go and you sound check. You sing through your songs with the band, everything is there. You tell them what you need, they adjust it as you need it. It sounds great, you know exactly where you are. They have enough headroom so that when you come on stage, remember, when you go into sound check, the sound that you hear at your sound check is most likely not going to be the sound that you hear when you do it live, simply because people have come in. They fill that space. So there isn't a whole lot of anything going on. They still need to have a little bit of headroom to turn you up. And sound engineers here have this really bad habit of adjusting your sound at sound check, and you say, thank you, it's perfect, it's perfect. And then you go away, you get dressed, you come back, and you start singing. It's like, what the freak did they do? They start tweaking. They constantly tweak. And it's like, why would you tweak to your voice? It is a habit. It is something that they absolutely have to do. What I found that works the best is once you've got your sound set and you're very comfortable with it, go to the sound person and say, please don't change my sound. Please don't touch anything, it's perfect. And the only thing they should have to do once you come back onto the stage is, I need you to turn my mic up. That's universal, you know that. Turn the mic up. They should have enough room that they can turn you up to give you what you need. Don't be afraid to speak with sound engineers. They're supposed to be working with you. They're supposed to be helping to make your performance better. Okay, so don't be afraid to have those conversations. You want to avoid your explosives, those P's and B's and things that make you go, whoa, yeah, pop, like that, pop, pop. You know, don't pop, 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 pop. You know, you can hear it when you, right? You want to avoid those. The P's are kind of hard to not do, but you have to practice enunciating in such a way that you soften those tones. Your P's, your B's, T's and D's. A lot of times you can actually transpose them. Where you're supposed to be saying T, you use a D. And it sounds like you're speaking Ebonics, but it is not. It helps with the recording to make it easier, and it also is much more pleasant for the hearing, for your ears, well, to the person's listening. They cannot differentiate between a T and a D, and they understand exactly what it is you're saying. You've just pronounced it or softened it in such a way that it fits what you're doing. Whitney Houston used to have this habit. Chew. Everything she would say, instead of saying you, I want to be with you. Okay, that's her style, that's her thing. And it became, because she would say it so often, that everyone else started doing it. It became just a normal thing to hear instead of, I want to be with you. So much so, here's another story. When I was in the recording studio with this group that didn't really go very big, but one of the members became a huge television movie star. We were in the studio and there's this song that's called I've Got Rules. I wish I brought it with me, I forgot about it. It's called I've Got Rules. Or at least that's how I would say it. He wanted it pronounced as I Got Rules. And I, for the life of me, could not say, I got rules. I can do it now. But we went over that so many times that he got frustrated. And he said to me, he said, listen, I do not need your correct diction today. I need you to be Ebonic on me. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? He said, you need to go hang out with some black people. His exact words. And I was like, what are you talking
Oh
about?
my God.
He said, listen to you. What are you talking about? And he started mocking me. And it messed me up so badly that I didn't want to record anything because I was afraid they were going to ask me to do something along that line. But then I understood later why he wanted it pronounced that way, because he gave attitude and he wanted it to be, I got rules. But I'm saying, I've got rules. No,
Mm.
big difference.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so he wanted the grunge,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the dirt. And I was like, I don't really know what you're talking about. So I actually had to go and hang out with some people to figure out how to speak correctly, do things like that. But these are things that, when we're singing, a lot of times we're so focused on being exact that it takes away. Sometimes you can have that attitude, like when you're speaking with your friends, you know, girl, what's up? You can put that into a song. What? You know, when you're doing your ad-libs, these things, they fit.
Mm.
Instead of what? What? You got attitude. You're giving it something different. We're supposed to be painting pictures. We have a blank canvas. When we walk in, that canvas is blank. Your first verse of a song is where you're starting to choose your colors. By the end of the song, you should have a picture that everybody recognizes. Does that make sense?
Mm.
I will say also with your techniques, dynamics are extremely important. No one wants to go to a performance where it's a monotone. Okay? Just don't. Unless it's deliberately being done, but for a very short period of time. Dynamics. Who's able to describe to me dynamics? I told you. Anyone else? Come on. Dynamics are?
I guess like in simple terms like volume of heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Exactly. One of my other favorite people to listen to is Adele. Adele does a great job with that.
Mm-hmm.
She will take you to like the smallest of sound and then explode on you and say, oh my God. But it builds emotion.
Mm-hmm.
It takes you to where she is. It lets you know exactly how she felt at that moment, or those moments, every time she does it. And if you listen to it, even though she builds up to it, and you know where she's going to go, she always approaches it differently. Because it is about that moment as to how she's feeling, as to what's coming through her that you're going to hear. That's where we all are. That's what we're all supposed to be doing. The microphone is here again to help us get others to hear what it is that we're doing, or we want to have you hear and feel what we're doing. Michael Jackson was the king of taking you to tears. Because not only was it in his voice where he could cry on the drop of a dime, in his songs, the microphone, the engineers were able to pick it up so that you felt it. You were right in that moment with him. So your dynamics are always going to be very important to be able to give you your variations and the intensities of the songs that you're doing. Right now, what I'd like to, Chris,
Yes.
do you want to play this?
What am I playing? Oh.
Actually, not. Well, what time is it?
It is 2:18.
Oh, cool. Okay. I can go. Wait, you said what?
2:45.
Okay.
Mm.
We got. I got stuff for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what I want to do is I want to identify the different types of singers. So when you hear your tribe, Would you raise your hand, please?
Okay.
The belter. Yep. Oh, raise them high, be proud, believe me, because belting is not easy.
No.
Belting takes a whole lot out of you, especially when you do it every night. I was at the Park Hyatt on the 52nd floor for almost 7 years, off and on, 6 nights a week, 45-minute shows, 4 45-minute shows. Not a joke. And even sounding as I do right now did not matter. You still had to come out and produce. So we get no excuses. And I tell people all the time, our instrument is our voice. We're not like the piano that you can mic it and turn it up, turn it down. We don't have a volume in there. If we're sick, we have to figure out how to sing around that sickness. We have to figure out how to maintain ourselves. And though I try very, very hard, right now I sound really crazy. But because of that, I do, because you know my voice, and I'm like, please, Lord, leave it, please let it go. But I actually have to work later tonight. I worked last night, and I worked the night before. And it's about pacing oneself, okay? Like I said, 4 45-minute shows, that's not easy.
No.
And the Park Hyatt, if you didn't know about the New York bar, which will reopen in October, that place gets busy. Most times it's standing room only. So you've got people talking, you've got people making drinks, and then there's you with the band. And the drummer wants to be the loudest person in the room.
So true.
So now you're making yourself sing over the drummer because unconsciously you're trying to hear yourself. So now you're singing so hard that at the end of the night, like I said, you're tired and your voice is like, okay, I really want to quit. Now you've got to go home and medicate, try to get enough rest, drink enough water, get up tomorrow, do whatever is required so that you're back again tomorrow night doing the same thing again. But that first show, if you're ever in a situation where you're doing more than one show, you pace yourself. You find those songs that are easiest to sing so that you figure out where your voice is at that point in time and you build up to it. No one said that you had to come out blasting from the first note. Take care of you first. And maybe by the last song of that set, you're ready to give it some more go. You don't have to give it everything, but you have enough that they will most likely go, wow, what's coming next? Another thing that I really wanted to address, song selection. Song selections are very important. I personally will do at least 90% of the songs that I like. But because I know so many songs, 9 times out of 10, if you make a request, I'm like, I don't really like that song, but okay. I'll sing it. Why? Because your audience is important. And they are coming out because they want to hear their favorite songs sometimes. I hated that song, I'll Always Love You, because when I was working in Nagoya, we had a 9-piece band, and it was mandatory that no matter how many times that song was requested per night, you had to do it. And you had to do it in the original key, which was, and is, the recorded key is A. Yeah. And sometimes you would walk in, we started at 7:30, and the first thing that was on the stage was, I'll Always Love You, and I was like, but you got yourself together and you got through it. But by the end of the night, we might have done it 5 or 6 times.
Oh my God.
And I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. So I absolutely despised that song for a very, very, very long time. I then, when I came to Tokyo, I refused to put it on my song list because I wanted no one to request that song. So when someone requested that song, I would charge them more. I'm not kidding. Not only did I charge them more, but I lowered the key. And the reason I lowered the key, and I felt like it was okay, because most singers don't feel like it's okay to lower the key.
Speak on
There's a
it.
stigma
Mhm.
to lowering a key.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with lowering the key.
Amen.
And the reason I say that is because one of the bass players for Whitney Houston is also a very good friend of mine. And they were here. He was with another group. He was here, and they came out to the show, and he's like, "Girl, you are working yourself to death. Why don't you lower the key?" I said, "We can't lower the key because it's in it." He's like, "Do you know that when Whitney's on tour, she sings that in F?" I was like, "What?" Are you serious? He said, all of her songs, they lower the keys. Not only for her, but most artists lower the keys, especially when they have a very, very packed tour season. And I got a perfect example of it working with Miyazawa-san. I don't know if you guys know you know Hikichi, HM? I was with him for 4 years, and standing backstage and watching him go through his warm-ups and things taught me so much. But it also made me really understand that lowering the key does not take away anything. As a matter of fact, by lowering the key, you may find a totally different vibe in that song. Case in point, I Don't Know Why by Nora Jones. It's in B flat. For a long time I did it in B flat. And one night I came in and I said, let's drop that by a whole step. To which the piano player looked at me and went, "Why?" I said, "I just want to see what it feels like." That's the key I do it in now. Because once the piano players have played it in that key, they're like, "Wow, this really feels different." Don't be afraid to change your keys. Nobody's paying you to sing an A.
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, the persons who are listening do not know the difference anyway.
Yeah.
And if they have to have it in the original key, I recommend CDs. Absolutely. I am a very, very big proponent of dropping a key. I don't have a problem with that, not at all. So please don't be afraid to change the keys on your songs. Make yourselves comfortable. By changing the key of a song, it makes it more your song. You can put more of yourself into it. So, like I said, don't feel like you have to compete with anyone. Okay? So, let's see, what else was there? Who's the Whisperer?
The Whisperer.
I was like, who's the Whisperer? I was just talking about Billie Eilish, who's more of the, I used to walk, now I just fall down. No whisperers here? Do you know how cool whispering is?
I wish.
You wish you could whisper?
I'm just saying, on the way to getting that.
I'm sorry, say again?
I'm trying to do that too.
Whispering has a lot to do with breath control.
Yeah.
So once you're able to control your breaths, and I would recommend jumping rope and then immediately starting to sing. Eventually you get to the point where you're controlling your breath. It's something you have to work on a lot. This is so weird. I hate having conversations like this because I've had so many experiences that I always end up lending my experiences to conversations. Chris can tell you that. Toni Braxton was my neighbor before she became Toni Braxton. And the young lady who was her vocal coach was a very good friend. We all went to church together. She worked with pretty much all the artists out of Atlanta at that time. And she would actually have them run up and down the stairs in her house before they began their vocal classes. Her name was Robin Brown. She would have them, there was seven flights in her place. She would have them run up and down the stairs for at least 5 minutes. They would come, she's like, okay, let's sing scales. What is wrong with you? But she would do that, and after a while, it became so easy for them. And I remember I was there one day, just pretty much hanging out, and like I said, Toni Braxton, before she was Toni Braxton, she came in and they were working on her song, Love Should Have Brought You Home. I did not know this was her thing. So here I am, weeks later, driving home, and this song comes on there. I was like, why do I know this song? Oh my God, are you kidding? All of those techniques and all of those things, the punishments that she put her through, was to help her build up to being able to hit all of her falsettos. When she would make that octave leap, she made them, it's like, you're gonna work for this. You know? So that's why I'm saying, sometimes the silliest things actually help you to get where you wanna go. So if you're running, I don't know if you jog. Do you jog? Yeah, I don't know. I don't like jogging.
Not often.
I have an aversion to running.
Like never.
There's gotta be a really good reason for me to run. But if you make your, I mean, seriously, you know, you're increasing your heart rate, you know, and then just take a moment, get your breaths together, and then start singing. And start, I mean, really low, just whisper. It's something you have to work on. I had to work on it because I am a total belter. And Chris will tell you, it's like, how are you hitting that note? It's just coming out, I don't know. And it was really a lot of work. But then, when I learned to just pull back, I don't have a problem whispering. I will whisper in a heartbeat right now. That's what I'm doing when I sing, because this is all I got today. Seriously. Sorry. This is me in silly mode. Where's my riffer? Do you know
A bit.
That's you?
A bit. Not all the time, but a bit.
A bit? Why do you riff?
Personally, I enjoy to show that I know how to use the modes and scales. And that is what I do, to show that everything's not on the white keys, that we can use some of the flats and sharps to make things quite exciting to the ear. And so I show that in my runs, to show that I know how to use the scales.
Absolutely. Any other riffers in here? Every now and then I might do some riffing, but not too often. Because I don't know, it's not me. It's just a personal preference. And I'd like to listen to everyone else do it. Beyonce drives me crazy. It's like every other breath. It's like, dude, please, just at some point, you know, there's a whole lot of that going on. I like it, but, and every song. And then we have those who are falsettos. Like I would say more or less our sopranos. Would you say, Chris?
The head singer, the head voice singer. Mixed singing with the mixed voice more.
Yeah, I would say more of the sopranos, the higher voices, who are operatic type things.
I'm getting into that.
That's you?
Getting into it.
Really? And that's what makes us who we are, because we all do something different.
Yeah.
We're not all supposed to be the same, which is, again, I will say, I don't care what is recorded, make the song your own. Because if you just wanted to hear the same song, you just played, well, Spotify right now.
Yeah.
But make the song your own. Change the key, change the tempo. That's another thing you can do. It does not have to be exactly the way someone recorded it. It's just a place to begin. Okay? So all of these are things that, like I told Chris when I came, I said, wow, we should actually set knowledge imparting more knowledge, okay? But these are all things that we absolutely need to use for our performances, to make them better, to have people more engaged in what's going on. And all of these techniques can also apply to you as you're having moments of speaking. Projection is very, very important. That's, I think, one of the biggest things. You can have the softest voice, but when you're trying to get other people to hear you, unless you have an awesome engineer, you have to project your voice. Dynamics used to bring people in. You get softer, people listen. You get louder, they get excited. And you can see the reactions on their faces. So I think we're gonna take a quick break right about now. And then we're gonna actually have some singing happening.
Yes.
We're gonna get you to sing.
Surprise!
Look at my face like, me?
Surprise! No, we came with a bag. It's the bag. I'm sorry. This is me every day, guys. So, this is me all the time, even when I'm performing. So I don't change. And that's the other thing. Be who you are. Okay, don't go in and pretend to be somebody. Just go and be who you are. People will appreciate that about you. Just love what you do, love yourself, and give it your all.
Yeah.
Welcome to the second half. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Is everyone in?
Yes.
We were on the break. We were just having a discussion about changing the keys, and back to that. I was going to say that changing the key, first of all, don't feel bad about doing it, because what's happening is that it is actually preventing you from straining yourself, from being in a key where you shouldn't be and causing damage to your vocal cords. I know at least 3 singers here right now who have had to have the surgery, or they've had to be on vocal silence for quite some time in order to heal. And anytime I sound like this, I'm completely freaked out. It's like, what did I do? What did I do? And I go to the doctor. There are 2 doctors here that I would recommend, actually. One guy will only see you if you're a vocalist. That's his specialty.
He don't mess around.
You know, so he's on. And the other guy, he's ENT, but he also knows vocals very well because he is an opera singer. So he does this, and I've been seeing these guys for quite some time. The only difference is that in the beginning of me seeing them, it was always with the mirror down the throat so they could see what was happening. But now it's up the nose and down in 2. And they get a much better picture of what's happening, and it's much, believe me. Yeah, it's only gag worthy when they decide to talk to you while it's still in, and they're moving it around inadvertently, and you'll, do you mind? You know, okay, we got a picture, get out. You know, and they're able to tell you, it's like, okay, now don't worry, your vocal cords are fine, you know, it's just inflammation, or they actually can, I'm always freaked out when people look inside of my body. But they're like, oh no, here, you're getting a cold, or oh, this is your, I said, oh, that's what it looks like. It is freaky. But I'm comforted in knowing that I'm actually using correct techniques when I'm singing, and I'm not causing any damage to myself, because this is my livelihood. We all have to remember that. As far as maintaining your health and everything, you gotta drink. I'm really bad at remembering to drink water. I actually have an alarm set, just says drink. And people think I'm thinking about an alcoholic. No, I just need water. Because I'm really bad, I'm not kidding. I'm one of those people that, you know, I could probably go all day and say, oh, I didn't drink today. You know, it's a really bad habit, but you have to remind yourself to drink. I do not get enough sleep, but my body has been conditioned to function on 3-4 hours, and then maybe 5 days down the road, I'm just completely out, because it catches up with you eventually. So vocal health is very, very important. When it comes to changing your keys, you can either speak with your vocal coach, Chris. you know, and he will help you with whatever song it is that you're wanting to sing, and move the keys around so that you find one that's most comfortable to you. Since you're working with a band, I'm pretty sure not every key that you're singing in is a comfortable key, even though you get through it. You may want to say to the piano player, you know, can we take a second and, you know, I want to change the key on this, because it's going to help you last, you know, and if they're true musicians, and I say this from my heart, if they're true musicians, they will be able to change the key and not have a panic attack, okay?
Yeah.
But there are musicians who will say, oh, I can only play it in this key. And it's
Yep.
like, I don't need to
So
be working
true.
with you. That's not the key that I sing in. So don't be afraid to change your key. And don't be afraid to ask for help in changing your key. And again, like I said, you're not getting paid to sing it in the recorded key. You move these keys to where you are most comfortable, where you can get the most into your performance, okay? There was one other thing, warm-ups, and that's where Chris comes in.
Yes.
Warm-ups are extremely important. One of the things that I do, especially when I'm in the shower, is lip trills. I walk around the house just doing that. And sometimes I'm actually trilling a song. One of my favorite songs, it's gonna sound gross, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. When I'm in the shower and I'm gargling, shut it. Because I didn't even say it yet, but he knows me.
I'm sorry.
When I'm gargling, I actually gargle the Star Spangled Banner. And you know why I do that? It's because it has highs and lows. The trick is do not choke yourself. So you're gargling and not choke. Okay, start over. No. I'm being very, very serious. Okay? These are things, it sounds crazy, but these are things that it actually helps to warm up your vocal cords. You're in the shower already, and there's humidity there. You're actually taking that in. So the shower is a perfect place to actually start warming up your voice. So some people do these crazy things. I'm like, Richie, what are you doing? Or they're, again, with the lip trills. You know, and the tighter you pull it, the higher the sound goes. It's loosening your face. It's helping you to, again, prepare to start singing. But warm-ups are very, very important, and it helps you to figure out where your voice is at that time. So again, when you're warming up, pay attention to where your voice is. It will help you to be able to choose those first songs that you're going to do. Okay? Can you make that jump, your transitions easily? And also, something I just found out a few months ago. There's a technique that is used, and I'm pretty sure Chris knows about it. The straw technique.
Oh yeah, phonation.
Yeah, you're blowing through the straw and you're doing sirens. You're doing the sirens. But as you're doing the siren, you're listening to your voice, and wherever you're having any trouble, where you feel like you skipped over something, that's all you want to work on. And it works. It freaking works. I thought it was a crazy thing, but it really does. So those are good things, especially if you're on the train or whatever. You can always just put your straw in your mouth. No one has to know what you're doing with your straw. And do your breathing exercises while you're on the train to help you warm up so that when you arrive, you're ready to go. Singing cold, and I know it's a bad habit, it happens to me often, especially when I'm running late, is not good. It is not good. Your voice isn't ready yet for that type of work. So make sure you're warming up, and I promise I will do better also. So Chris, you want to do the warm-up?
Yes. Okay, everybody, why don't you stand on that? Find a place where you can have some space. You don't need anything in your hands. Just gonna do a lovely warm-up from our Body Voice Warm CD. Get ourselves ready. Here we go. Exercise 1.
Say. Say. Now, you try.
Here we go.
Thank you.
Yes.
Now may I have a volunteer? Because we're going to sing a little.
Yay.
And it's a very easy song. I'm pretty sure everyone knows it.
Yeah. No volunteers?
Volunteers? Do I have to start pointing people out? Thank you.
All right, Andy.
You're so brave. Come on.
Love it.
Come on, young man. We're just gonna sing happy birthday.
Okay.
Okay? You choose
You
your
guys can
key.
sit that down.
Okay. And what I want you to do
Mm-hmm.
first, are you gonna sit on the mic?
Oh yeah, thank you.
Okay. You choose your key. First, I want you to sing it as a whisper. Okay? Yep. This works too.
Okay. I don't know, but just.
You choose your
Yeah,
key.
yeah, okay.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. I don't know who I was to. Happy birthday to you.
Now I want you to sing it like in your regular tone.
Regular, okay.
What I want you all to notice, okay, what we're looking for right now is his distance to the microphone. Okay? Ready?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to everyone here.
Thank you.
And happy birthday to you.
Ooh, even good. Now one more. I want you to belt it.
Okay.
Okay?
Well, happy birthday. Okay.
He didn't need an adjustment.
I mean, just up the key a little bit.
It's on you.
Happy birthday to you.
noticed that as he was belting, he kept moving back.
Mm.
That is a technique that you have to be conscious of the microphone. It didn't distort the sound,
Mm-mm.
and you knew where you were, and it felt good, right?
Yeah.
Because you could just let it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just some pops a little bit.
Ah, exactly. You
Yeah.
heard it yourself.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
See? Thank you. Woo! Thank you so much. You want to try it on this microphone? Is this mic up?
Yeah.
Just so I can give you a quick,
Yeah.
a
Yes,
quick.
it is.
I would love to.
Hey, you
Because I
know,
sing SM this like so many times. I
Yeah.
have my
So you
own-
know that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go here. You want to belt it or you want to do a whisper? Try the whisper first.
Okay.
Just raise it up a little bit, the microphone.
I was going to say, yeah, you can come up to
Yeah.
your height.
Yeah, there you go.
It's okay.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to everyone. Happy birthday to you.
Was that clearer?
Yeah.
You could hear the difference in the microphones,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah.
That's a condenser, and it picks up everything. It picks up all the nuances in your voice. But when it's recorded, it comes out flat. So this mic, like I said, it's an excellent mic. It's just, the clarity is just crazy. But it's really hard to use in loud places. You like that, don't you?
Yeah, and it's like more the high frequency, so it's like more
Exactly.
air.
So now belt.
You got this.
For him to like
No, go ahead and belt.
We're ready.
Let us have it.
Oh. Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to
And you know what?
Very different.
You know what? When you were singing this, you didn't move back and forth a lot. You stayed
Mhm.
pretty much
Yep.
straight.
Yeah.
Yes. That's because, again, your condenser, it's because of the way that the mic is made,
Mm-hmm.
okay? It allows you to give it more without distorting.
Mm.
And it's much clearer, but much more difficult to work with live. And if you drop this mic, you might as well cancel it basically, because of the way that it's made. It damages the mechanism inside that's vibrating in there. So, yeah, that's why this is the workhorse and that one just stays, yes.
And on the gauge, to just say that he stayed in green, he never went to yellow.
Exactly, and
He never made
belted,
it,
and he
and he
didn't,
belted.
from there, he didn't stand way back there, he
Yeah.
belted it. So it stayed, this mic it's really a freaking awesome mic to have, but it's very hard to carry from job to job and be sure it doesn't get damaged. Thank you very much.
Yes.
We're gonna do the same thing again. We get to do the same thing. Happy birthday. As a whisper first.
Whisper.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Yes. Now, in your normal voice, like a nice mid voice. Okay?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Now, I've been told that you sing opera. or you practice opera, or you like opera.
Yes, I
Like I said, or you like opera. She's like, you're not putting that on me. So I want to hear you belt happy birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's on you.
The biggest voice.
Your
Yeah.
biggest voice.
I'm not used to that.
It's like, do you have children?
Yes.
Do you yell at them?
This is your chance.
Make up for all that
They're
time.
adult kids
Let it
now.
go.
They're adult kids now.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, now I want you to, you're really probably going to hear the difference very much. Okay? Whisper first.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Now belt,
Okay.
the loud, full voice.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
You did great.
Nice job.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So can you all hear the difference in these two microphones?
Oh, most definitely.
The clarity is unmistakable, correct? This is why when you're in the studio, the condenser mics are what you're using. The belt, like Chris said, it didn't leave the green area. It compresses that sound so that it doesn't have to peak and distort. You want to sing? She's like, wait a minute, she looked at me.
I love that.
Like, how'd you get to me? Same thing, happy
Okay, okay.
birthday.
With
Whisper
whisper.
first.
Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear everyone. Happy birthday to you.
Okay. We're just gonna have you do the belt.
Okay.
The belt.
No,
I don't think I've ever.
you
I
can,
don't have to do that.
you don't have to move that far back, but you will know when to move back.
Okay. Hold on, I don't think I've ever belted happy birthday.
Some voices.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
All right.
Okay.
You belted a little bit,
Okay. I can.
just a little bit. Switch.
Okay.
Whisper.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
I have a question. Can you sing it softer?
Softer, okay.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Mhm.
There used to, when I was doing recordings before, there was this one producer. I started calling him Whisper Yama. Because it did not matter how much I whispered, he'd say, under that sound, more quiet. And I was like, what? Like this. I'm not kidding you. I really used to call him Whisper Yama-san.
high schooler. Yes.
Because I know you sing very, very high. And this mic, I want you to see what it's like to sing on this mic. We're gonna start here first. Whisper, please.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
All right, we're belting. Salute. Belting, ready?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Whisper.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
You can hear, right? And you can feel the difference. Can you belt for me now?
Don't say it too far,
Because
man.
her voice is so quiet.
Mm.
Is there? That's like I really want to hear what you sound like on this mic when you're belting.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
Okay, don't kill me, but one more thing. I want you to stand closer to the microphone and sing it like you just sang it one more time. Belt it closer.
Don't be afraid.
Okay. All right, there you go.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
It picked up everything
Mm.
and no distortion, and your voice was crystal clear.
Mm.
And like you said, the high ends are definitely coming out. They shine through.
Yeah, it's different.
Woo! Thank you, guys. I think we only got a few moments. I'm so sorry I got carried away, but we have questions. Any questions? Oh Lord. And then there's you. Okay.
No, I don't have that many.
Not
Just
that
four. No, I'm kidding. No. There's someone else. Okay, I'll go first. Wired versus wireless. Is that just whatever they have you do with it?
It's a
or-
preference.
It's a preference.
And also, a lot of times the wireless is more difficult to use simply because of frequencies. Here in Japan, you really have to be careful of which wireless you get because it seems that all of the frequencies are pretty much occupied by emergency services. Quick story, there was a club here before, a live house, called Pickford Live. And the guitar player, we always joke about this, his favorite lick was ching, 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 ching. And in Roppongi, at the crossing, the police, they kept hearing this noise. And they could not for the life of them figure out where it was coming from. So they were literally running around trying to figure out where it came from. And one day, they realized that it was his guitar. He was on their frequency. So he was,
wow.
they were picking up ching, 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 and they couldn't figure out
Oh my
what
God.
was going
That's
on.
so cool.
So they had to have him change his frequency. I kid you not, this is all true. So whenever I talk to him, you know, it's a running joke with us, especially with guitar. It's like, you're chinking tonight, you know. So it's it has to do with the frequencies. And when you buy a cordless microphone here, they will actually let you know what frequencies you're allowed to use. So the corded mic is just basically because it's going to work no matter where.
Right.
You know, you don't have to worry about running into the frequencies. and because a lot of times bass players will use their, what do you call it? Their little, it just went, English is gone. I can't think what you call it, but they too use a wireless, on their pickup, the little microphone or something like that. The frequencies cross, and that will cause, of course, feedback and things of that nature. So it's, you have to know which microphone you're using. You definitely have to know which frequencies you're on to do that. So that's the main reason for that. That's it?
No.
Oh,
Someone else should know too.
any other questions?
I think you should go for it.
Okay. Okay. Was there a point where you ever started to buy your own microphones and take them with you?
I do.
In case you can.
I do.
Do you ever struggle to hook up that to their sound system?
No.
How does that work?
Because they all have channels. You know those slider things?
Yeah.
Each one of those at the top of it, you'll see where you plug in. That is your channel. And 9 times out of 10, whenever you go, well, 10 times out of 10, when you go into a place and it has a soundboard, they already have the cables. Okay? So they're gonna be able to plug in and you go for it. It became really popular, especially during the pandemic, to have your own microphone. You didn't want to use anyone else. Oh, which reminds me, and this is gonna really sound really gross to people, but I have to tell you, this mic does not open. But I would recommend that when you go in and you're using the communal microphones, that you take wet wipes with you. Always, always, always clean the mics before you use them. And I promise you that if you're able to open the top of it, you would run out immediately and get your own mic.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a great.
It's extremely gross in there. It's really gross in there, and it's not healthy.
During COVID period, they should put something on
If it's this is my mic, okay? So when we're finished today, I will sanitize it simply because that's what I'm gonna do, and because I'm already having issues. But I didn't cover my microphone because I was the only one that would sing on my microphone then. Right now, I'm a lot more free with it because I'm just trusting that way. But still, when it doesn't even matter. If my son sings on my microphone when we're around the house, I'm still cleaning it. Okay? Because I don't know what's happening at school. They come home and then the whole house is sick. And so I'm constantly cleaning. But yeah, if you're using the microphone with many people, and one thing I loved about Chris when he would do the recitals with everyone had a cover for the microphone. So you covered it, and when you finished, you took your cover with you and disposed of it as you needed. So yeah, it's always better, safe than sorry.
I have 2 questions. I noticed that some artists, I hold the microphone, and some artists hold like this or like this at a different angle. Isn't that like a stylistic?
It's a style thing. But if you notice, even when they hold it like this, they're still able to sing over the top of it. Because it's unidirectional. You have to sing from here to get the sound. So no matter where if they're holding it up like this, they're singing right into the top of it.
What happens when you go for a different angle?
It doesn't really affect it as long as you're singing into that area. Sorry. As long as you're singing on the top of it, you're perfectly fine. So if they're hanging the mic like this, because they do this all the time, they're still singing right where it's going to pick up. Okay? Even here. Okay? Just not like this.
For the second question, as to communicating with the sound art engineers, do you take care of the reverbs, the effectors?
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell them.
You just tell them more reverb, turn it up or turn it down. You don't want to sound like you're swimming. Too much reverb, it's like, okay, did I just enter Death Valley? There's too much echo. You want it to be long enough that it sounds natural. Not so much that it's bleeding on into the rest of your phrasing, okay? So as you're sound checking, just tell them to turn it up or turn it down. Always use reverb because a dry sound is going to drive you absolutely nuts, It depends. It depends on you. And again, if you have a sound person who's doing that, if you do a soft song, they may actually increase your reverb to give it a softer feel to it. When you're doing faster songs, you may not want a whole lot of reverb because again, it sounds like you're swimming. It gets muddled and you don't want to do that. Yeah. Okay, next. Well, we still have some time. Go for it.
This is not a microphone related question, but I really like what you said about not bringing everything else into the performance and like kind of clearing your mind. What if asking for a friend, the thing that you're bringing into the performance is like some perfectionism to hit each note, and because you're focusing so intensely on the music, you're not engaging with the audience and having fun.
And that was something that's really important. A lot of times, things that I've been seeing lately are people that take their lyrics on stage. Okay. I don't have a problem with you taking your lyrics on stage because I take my I have a book with all of my lyrics. I never look at my lyrics. Okay. I'll say it this way. When I look at my lyrics, it's because they've started the music and maybe the guys have decided they're gonna change the way we're gonna approach the song. And I'm like, oh wait, I have to find it. So I'm trying to count myself into where I need to be, but at the same time that I'm counting myself into the song, it's like, what is the first word? Once I get the first word, I'm okay. So because I have my lyrics in front of me, just the first word, I'm good. I don't need it anymore. But when you're reading your lyrics, you're not able to get into the song. So by learning the song, it isn't just about knowing the song. You need to know the lyrics and you need to know the meaning of those lyrics. So once you've taken the time to do those three things, now you can make the lyrics apply to you. Okay? Another quick thing that was told to me along the road to where I am right now, when I first started doing jazz, everyone says, I'm a jazz singer. And, you start learning your jazz tunes. And I went on stage one day with these, we call them old heads. They've been doing music forever and ever. They still got the cigarettes hanging out of their mouths. And that's what they do. They do jazz. And so we went up and I thought I was like, yes, I nailed it. My old friend Stan, he said, baby girl, you just sang. You did a good job with that, but you ain't singing jazz. And I went, what? He said, when you live life a little bit more, you'll start singing jazz. And at first, I was offended. But I can honestly say to you right now, the vast majority of jazz tunes that I do, I can absolutely see myself in those songs. Okay, from Body and Soul, we've all been through the heartbreak. We've all been there before. We've been on the sunny side of the street, where you're extremely happy. Jazz is about that moment. Jazz is about every experience that you're going to have. So by knowing the songs and understanding what the song is trying to convey, you're able to perform it and get people to appreciate it. So that's how that works. You just have to know the songs, and this is why I will say to you that the vast majority, and I use that a lot, but the vast majority of songs that I sing are songs that I really like. And I like them because they apply to me. And we went through a time during the pandemic, when they had the situation back in the States with George Floyd, and it was really dark. There was a customer who would come in all the time, and his favorite song was What a Wonderful World. And the first time I did the song, I wasn't really thinking about it, but halfway through the song, it's like, it shook me. We finished the song, and I was like, okay, he's not gonna be back for a while. But he came back the next night, and he wanted the same song. And I started singing it, and I just broke down in tears. And through my tears, I was still singing it, but it's like all of the frustrations and all of the sympathy, the empathy, and understanding what was happening started coming out in the song. And the very last verse of that song says, I hear babies cry, I watch them grow, and immediately I saw my son. Because he'll learn much more than I will ever know. That took me over to a point where I couldn't sing that song for a long time because I started to see the world differently. And I had to explain to this guest that I couldn't do it right now. It's like, I really can't do this song without crying. So these are things that we take in, we live through, and then songs actually help us to convey our messages. So do songs that you really like, and that way you'll always be able to hit the mark on it. Okay? Guys, I think we have to wrap up. Okay. Sorry, I could be here all day, but they're telling us we need to go home, and I need to go to work. So, Chris, you want to take over?
Yes. Let's give her a hand, everybody. Nice job, Tiffany. As always, we thank you for your time. We hope that you have learned. For sure. Thank you for your time and energy today. So
Thank
much
you
great
for asking me
information.
to do
Yes,
this.
we're happy to
Thank you.
have you. For sure. Hope that you all have learned some things as well to get ready for when it's time for you to be in front of the microphone. Even at karaoke, it's great practice, right? Before it's time for a real live performance.
Be careful with karaoke though.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Karaoke is not really made for people that actually sing. It's got too much reverb on it, and you're not able to really choose the way that it goes. So it's, go have fun, but don't overdo it.
You heard it. Don't overdo it.
Sorry.
No.
I have to say it. It wouldn't stay in.
It's fine. Thank you all for this lovely afternoon, for your Sunday afternoon and your time today. Again, our event will be here, the same space that we'll be here for our choir event next month, if you are available. And it's open for anyone to come, friends, family, anybody who enjoys singing. If you're not a good singer as well, it doesn't matter. It's just for us coming together to have fun for a music event.